Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to the series, The Art of Strategic Goal Setting. In today's video, episode 3 of section 1, we're going to be going over finding your path and using goals to follow it. So again, this is still section 1, we're going over the basics. So this video will most likely be a little bit shorter than the other videos, but again, it's very good foundational information that the rest of the series is going to build upon, and that's why it's really good to have this foundation of information before we start getting into more in-depth strategies, tricks, and tips and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So today's video topic is a little bit different, a little bit more personalized than the other ones, since there's no tip or trick that really works for everybody when it comes to finding your path and what you're passionate about. But my goal is to be able to provide you with a few different tips and tricks that may be able to help you find your path if you haven't found it already, and then also going over how we can use goals in order to follow that path and take part in that passion. Now, before we get too far into this video, I want to emphasize something, and that is that your passion and your path can change throughout time. Now, throughout your life, you'll have many different passions and paths that you like to follow, and it's a good thing to be able to find them and capitalize them as they come and go throughout your life, because most likely you're not going to be passionate about one thing in particular throughout your entire life. The things you like will change, and you might dislike something later on in life, and that is okay, and that's natural. So if you notice that something that you used to enjoy doing is starting to feel like a task or something that you don't like to do anymore, don't feel like you have to keep pressuring yourself into trying to like it and trying to reignite the passion, because sometimes you just have to move on and find something else that you enjoy. Now, obviously, some things in life, such as work, you might just have to power through and just do because you just need to do that in order to maintain your lifestyle. But other things that you might treat as a hobby, if you're not enjoying that hobby and you're not finding satisfaction out of it, then you might want to just move on and find something else that you like. And the same idea applies to goals. So say you have a short-term goal that you're passionate about. Usually your passion will probably last, however short that goal is. For example, say your goal takes less than a year to accomplish, you probably will stay passionate about that certain goal, that certain subject, while you're trying to achieve it. But say your goal is more of like a 5-year or a 10-year goal. In the next 5 years, you might have a totally different outlook, a totally different mindset on the entire world, basically. So that same goal that used to be so important to you 5 years ago, it may change, and you may not even care about it after a few years, and that is perfectly fine. There's definitely a difference between just quitting your goal or finding something else that you're passionate about, because you don't want to be stuck in this 5-year commitment for achieving this goal that you set back when you were passionate about it, and then 3 years later you really do not care and it's no longer beneficial to you. Well, there's really not much of a point in continuing to spend time and trying to work towards that goal that you're not even passionate about anymore. So now that we've established that passions and paths may change, and there's definitely a difference between quitting on your goal or finding something else that interests you. So now let's get into, how do you find that passion? How do you find that path? Because oftentimes, you may be interested in something 1 month and move on the next, but to really find your passion and what you really care about, that's something that may take years to be able to find and to be able to recognize that that is what you're truly passionate about. So you really want to think about, what do you enjoy? Now, when I say what do you enjoy, I don't mean things that just bring you short-term satisfaction, things that after you do them, you no longer are satisfied with after you get that short burst of satisfaction, and you might even feel guilty about doing these type of things. So I'm definitely not talking about those type of things. What I'm talking about is stuff that you get an overall sense of satisfaction when you do them. Something that you really enjoy doing while you're doing it, after you're doing it, and you even feel satisfied when you're thinking about doing it. And ideally, this is something that's going to be a positive thing in your life, not something negative in your life like an addiction or a bad habit. This should be something that adds value to your life in a positive manner and brings up your overall state of being. And like I've said before, it doesn't have to just be in a money sense or in a fitness sense. It can be any aspect of your life that adds value. So another question to ask yourself after you think about, what do you enjoy, is what makes you feel productive? Now, what I mean by this is oftentimes when you're working, you might just be working because that's your job and that's what gives you money. But you want to find something that while you're working on it, you feel like a sense of accomplishment as you're working on it. You feel productive. Every minute, every hour that you spend doing that certain task, you actually feel good about doing it. You feel like you're getting somewhere and you're leveling up in some sort of aspect. So those are some ideas that you can look into that might help you find, what you really are passionate about. It might be something that you haven't even tried yet. So without getting too far far off track, make sure you're trying a lot of different things, a lot of different experiences in life, because you may not have even uncovered your true passion yet. You might not even have found out about it, or you may not even know it exists at this certain point in your life. On a different note, some people's passion may be in changing the world, or breaking records, or doing seemingly impossible things. And obviously those people probably already have a pretty good understanding of what their true passion is, because, you know, hey, they already know that, you know, I want to break a record, or I want to see this type of change in the world. And lastly, some people just have some kind of dream lifestyle, some point in their life that they want to get to, that once they're there, they believe they'll feel satisfaction throughout the rest of their life, because they're in a state that they've been yearning for so long, and they work so hard to get to. And that doesn't have to mean that you're living in a mansion in Hollywood Hills. It can be as simple as just having a nice family, a couple pets, and some good friends. And that's a perfectly fine lifestyle that a lot of people will enjoy. So at the end of the day, you have to really just think about what you want in life and what makes you happy while you're doing it. Obviously, it's ideal that it's a positive thing in your life, something that's going to level you up in some sort of aspect. So that's definitely something you want to think about before you start setting goals, is you want to think about, you know, what are you setting them for? What are you looking to achieve in life? What makes you happy? Stuff like that. Because it's really crucial that you answer those internal questions before you start going out in the world and taking action towards accomplishing a goal. So that's it for today's video. Like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video compared to the others, because like I said earlier, this whole section is just going to serve as building a foundation, so that in the later sections we have a strong foundation to build upon, and that way both you and me are on the same page later on when we're talking about goals and passions and paths and stuff like that. So as always, if you guys enjoyed today's video, you found something useful, or you just want to help support this channel, please consider smashing that like button down below. And a great way to ensure that you don't miss the next episode is you might want to consider subscribing as well. Make sure to stay tuned for the next episode, which is episode 4, and it's going to be the first video of the next section, where we'll start breaking down our days and start visualizing how we spend our time in order to become a more efficient goal achiever. So guys, before I go, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I wish you guys the best of luck on every goal that you have. And don't forget, the grind don't stop.
You've got to embrace the grind. Have a hustle hard mentality. Believe in yourself. Never give up. You've got to eat, sleep, and breathe the dream. I believe in you.